Cinema lost one of its truly unique and visionary artists in David Lynch. The depth of grief in both the filmmaking community and in cinephiles around the world has been palpable and heartfelt. I am heartened by how quickly memories and David's legacy have brought smiles out of tears, even for David's extended family. I wonder what your thoughts are on David Lynch's art and filmography, especially his presence and achievement in neo-noir such as Blue Velvet and noir elements in other films.
Um, well, it was fun. Were you there at Noir City when I did my little salute to David Lynch?
No.
Yeah, I actually came as David Lynch. I mean, I don't have the hair, obviously, but he had that fabulous uniform that he wore. The white shirt buttoned all the way up with the black sport coat and the whole thing. But yeah, I think it was shocking, and I can't recall another filmmaker of this generation whose passing has inspired such an outpouring, which is interesting, given that he was so outside the mainstream. But
Mm-hmm.
he made all of that more acceptable in the mainstream. So in that respect, I would say that he's probably the most influential filmmaker in America in the last 30 or 40 years. I mean, I mean, there's television before Twin Peaks and there's television after Twin Peaks. I
Yeah.
mean, and it influenced so much. Not just everybody talks about the surrealism and wow, what does it all mean? But just the fact that you didn't have to do linear storytelling uh, was just revolutionary for television, that people followed along. It still blows my mind that David Lynch got nominated for an Oscar for Mulholland Drive as best
Yeah.
director. It's like, how do you explain that?
It's about
That
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Anything about Hollywood? Look
Well,
at the substance. Let's talk about the substance. It's a body horror film
about Hollywood. Yeah,
about Hollywood, and I expected
that's
to
a good
me
point.
to get nominated, but that film got nominated in like five major categories. I was not expecting that at
Yeah, I
all.
thought she was going to ride the wave of sentiment,
Yeah,
the comeback wave.
yeah,
But I really did not expect that movie to be nominated and that's not a judgment at all. It's just like, wow,
no,
that's interesting, because horror, you know, doesn't get nominated. It's like comedy; it doesn't get nominated for awards. Just
yeah,
straight drama, and especially if there's like some kind of message or something attached to it. That's what Hollywood's going to vote for. But
yeah.
but anyway, the David Lynch thing, you cannot overstate his influence. But what I think is so fascinating, and what really uh because I kind of did an immersion back into all of his work uh after I learned that he had died, and it's so much more than just being a filmmaker. I mean, he was such a visual artist. There's so much work that he left behind, and I just really, really admire that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's more than just noir. I mean, clearly there's noir stuff elements in his work. It's pretty obvious which movies they are. Um, but it's really beyond that in a sense. So anyway, yeah, I was sorry to see him go, but these days, as I get older, my attitude is just like, wow, uh, good thing he got to do as much as he did.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the way I look at
he got to do a tremendous amount of work. Like, it is really impressive the amount of work that he got done. I mean, I assume his films made money or they wouldn't keep investing in them, and I assume that he wasn't an extravagant director. That would be my guess, that he was good on the, not bloating things. I mean, his films look great, but they were never like, you know,
it. Well,
epic
I think
things,
it
and
seems to me he
yeah,
always approached them like tactily, like an
yeah,
artist,
yeah,
like they feel
exactly.
handcrafted,
Yes.
especially when you get to stuff like Inland Empire. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's a home movie. Uh,
Yeah, that's very Cassavetes-esque.
yeah.
you
And
know.
and the thing that blows my mind about David Lynch is just how he, some people shake it up and are disruptive and are in terms of art,
Yeah.
uh, and they do it angrily. And
Yeah.
as dark and as weird and perverse as Lynch's stuff was, you never sense that he was an angry person who was doing this kind of shake it up the status quo out of some disgust or anger or arrogance as an artist. He seemed to just be having fun. He's
Yeah, and I think also like with his characters, I think he kind in a way this kind of reminds me of what Almodovar is like this too, that even like when his characters are doing bad things, they're still very human. Like I don't feel like he had a dark view of the human race. Like terrible things happen in his movies because terrible things happen in real life, but he didn't seem to have sort of like Lars von Trier has, where it's oh come on, there are
yeah,
some decent people too, whereas it felt like in Blue Velvet with Kyle MacLachlan's character, when she asked him to hit her and you see how much that like disturbs him. Like
yes,
yeah, and not those kind of things, and I think that's a real element of his film is like terrible things happen and there's real evil, but there's also like good too, you
yeah, I
know.
agree. Well, I think that his theme is, how can you possibly maintain innocence in the face of evil?
Yeah.
Seems to me that that's what every story he told was essentially about, and that seemed to be the overriding theme of his work, is just kind of keeping that darkness at bay. Like how do you do that, and um it's a pretty all-encompassing subject for an artist, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
um
But I think that's one of the things that made him someone really interesting because he was really taking that on. And also, I mean, just because his films just looked incredible too. I mean, he had an incredible visual style and yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's just weird because I still remember my friend and I went to see Blue Velvet. We saw it on like $3 night. Like just like the cheap night. It was probably a Tuesday. And like people walked out. It's like wow.
yeah,
And there is something like really great when you're watching a film and like people walk out and you're like,
sure,
okay,
because
this
but
because
how
it's really triggering
fascinating is
something
it
that
that he did that, and he obviously he knew the reaction those early films like Eraserhead and even Dune, the reaction this stuff was going to get, and he just that's what I mean, like his perseverance to me was just based on his belief in his art and not in his defiance or his anger that the mainstream didn't get him and didn't embrace him, because he just kept going. He kept doing the same thing until finally, astoundingly, somebody at ABC thought it was a good idea to put Twin Peaks on the air. And
God
and
bless
that
them.
and that changed everything. I mean, that
Yeah.
changed the entire culture.
Yeah.
And
That's kind of one of those things too. I just want to kind of point out people don't like understand how important producers are. You know what I mean? Because someone
tell me
did do
about it.
that. A
Yeah.
producer did it.
Yeah,
Someone
somebody greenlit it, and then
and
they
then
got
someone
scared
greenlit
to
it.
death, and then they shut it down,
Yeah.
right? Because it didn't have its proper ending. But
Yeah.
that's the other thing that makes David Lynch so mystical to me in some regards, is like there's something in that first season of Twin Peaks, if I recall, where Dale Cooper says something about it'll all be revealed in 25 years.
Yeah.
There's some, and then it is. And
Yeah.
then somehow David Lynch gets invited back to do it again
Yeah.
25 years later. And there's this other completely bizarre, inexplicable show that emerges that somehow ends up making sense,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's, yeah, there's, here's the thing. How many filmmakers have tried to do what he does, and how
Yeah.
much influence do you see? I mean, I think every other show that I watch on television, I say to Kathleen, "Oh, well, this is very Lynchian,"
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're all, like that now. I mean, people have taken so much from him. Like, at least this is the Lynch sequence,
Yeah.
in the film.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. And I just want to say
uh,
one, two thing. When I saw Fire Walk with Me, my husband at the time and I went back to the car and I burst into tears and I sobbed for like so long. And like a security guard came over. He was kind of concerned, like, but that film really moved me. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like that film doesn't get enough credit about showing the effect of sexual abuse on a young woman,
yeah,
especially in incest. And it's not like there's also this Adam Egoyan's The Sweet Hereafter, which I also think is an
right,
excellent film.
right. That is a
And I
great
mean,
film.
I get people get caught up on the other things about it, but that was kind of one of the things that is just like people don't talk about that still. And you really see the effect that it had on Laura,
Yeah.
and I think that that was, people, it's just odd to me that people don't really talk about that because that was really just something that you still don't really see that explored seriously, you
It,
know.
it is such a disturbing film. I watched it again recently, and it's just a tough film. Again, something that's like inexplicable that got made. I mean, it was so clearly a reaction to the fact that Twin Peaks, the rug was pulled out from under Twin Peaks, and he never got to delve as deeply into this as he wanted to. And then having this opportunity was just so bizarre. But the film is just inexplicable.
I mean, just the scene where she just is outside, she like burrs herself under the bush.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, 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 yeah. When she sees her dad leaving the house that morning, yeah, it is a deeply disturbing movie, but it's so weird because you know who else has done that? Who else has gone that far in exploring that? And just it's 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 such a horror movie,
Hmm.
but it's so true to these characters. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it is a terrifying film.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sure that I've ever, like I said, I just was in my car just crying. I mean, and that's really, it was just very affecting. I just, yeah,
yeah, and it's interesting because he makes these films in such a way that if you check out because it's like this doesn't make any sense, he gives you that escape valve. It's like if because I'm sure for some people it like you it all makes perfect sense. Like I understand exactly what's happening in this movie, but other people can just leave it like I don't get
yeah,
it. And part of me thinks that's just a fear factor that enters into it, like man, this because his he has the ability visually to just take you instantly to these dark places, and it's like the alarm bells go off for some people. And anyway, uh yeah, there is nobody that will replace David Lynch.
yeah. I
Okay,
want to
so
rewatch Mulholland Falls. I haven't watched it in a really long time.
Mulholland Drive, you mean?
Mulholland Drive, excuse me. I haven't watched that in a really long time. I
I
should watch it
watch it.
again.
I probably watch that movie, well, at the very least once a year.
Yeah, I know that you're
Once a year.
really a huge
Yeah.
fan of it. Oh,
If I ever taught a course, like a college course, it would be on that film, and I think we could probably do 8 to 10 weeks just on that film, just deconstructing and reassembling that film and all the whys and wherefores and how does this compute and everything. I mean, it's just that movie is endlessly fascinating to me. I'm always finding new stuff in it.